Goedemiddag, dit is Myster en we gaan u beeld laten zien van een Vredesdienst in de Laurenskerk afgelopen zaterdag. Mansukh Patel, iemand die wandelt voor de vrede. Iemand die geweldloos vrede in de wereld wil laten zien. En die zaterdagmiddag met honderden mensen een deel van die vredesmars door Rotterdam maakte. Opent het programma. In de Laurenskerk dus, in Rotterdam.
Before I share a few words this memorable occasion, I just want to offer a gift to a very dear friend who has come here today. And his name is beloved Robert Muller. If you could possibly come to the front and accept this gift on behalf of all the people who have walked here today. Thank you. Give an applause, please. Inspire great hope and faith in you. I want to thank you all for coming here today first. I've been trying to walk for the last 14 years on this beautiful planet Earth, ever since my mother threw me out of my house, our home. And I remember the story that kind of catalyzed that change for me. My mother said that a long time ago in the northern territory of India, there was a beautiful man who was invited by the local villagers to come and give a talk and sharing a satsang. When he arrived, about 500 people had gathered. And he looked at them and then he asked them a beautiful question. And the question was, does anybody here have any idea of what I'm going to share with you tonight? And everybody said, no. He said, if you haven't taken the trouble to find out what I'm going to share, goodbye, and he walked out. It is said that a few months later he came back again because they invited him. And when he asked the same question, does anybody here have any idea of what I'm going to share with you? Everybody said yes. And he said, if you already know it, then you don't need me to say anything. And he left. This man has already been there for nearly a year but hadn't said anything. 2 years later, they managed to persuade this wonderful hermit to come. And when he came, one man in the committee of this gathering said, I have a lovely idea. When he asks you this question, just do what I ask you to do. So when he asked the same question, does anybody here have any idea of what I'm going to share? Half the group said yes. The other half said no. So he said, you half tell the other half. And he walked out again. 2 years later, he hasn't said anything yet. Finally, 4.5 years later, this man arrived. By this time, 10,000 people had gathered to hear a man who hasn't said anything. And when he came in the gathering, and he said to everybody, does anybody have any idea of what I'm going to share? There was absolute silence. Nobody spoke. And the man said, we are all ready. You can feel this in this room now. The silence, the power of the human heart that transcends all our words, all our doings, because everything comes from that. And then my mother said, beautiful little Indian mother, who had never read a book in her life, or written one. She looked at me with those beautiful brown eyes. She said, the great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. Imagine sitting here with such an openness of your heart and soul that every word, every prayer that is going to be sung here today, every breath that is going to be put out, every song and every poem that's going to be recited is going to awaken you to the great spirit that is everywhere. The earth, the sky, the trees, the beautiful sun. It can make you cry. I used to say to my mother, Mom, you're dying. Please, please tell me, what can I do to be just happy? In this incredible world that is so complicated and so fast, so many variations and diversions and forms, diversity. I said, Mom, please, tell me before you die. And she was in a deathbed. Took out her little arm, beautiful brown arm, the wrinkles on them, 70 years old woman, beautiful wrinkles. She said, come here. I was the youngest child. And she said, Mansukh, look at me. And I looked into her eyes. Because I know she was dying. And it's beautiful to look at somebody who's dying. It's very unconditional. Very this woman. Imagine a mind that has never read a book. Imagine a heart that has never been to school. Just imagine that. The indigenous nature of such a spirit. When I looked into her eyes, I just cried. Because I think she touched something without words first. And then she said, Mansukh, listen. You said my teacher, my mentor, my guru was also an old person, told me this. I said, what is it, Mom? She said, do not prolong the past. Don't invite the future. Do not denigrate the presence. And don't fear appearances. Do not prolong the past. Don't invite the future. Don't denigrate your soul in the present. And don't fear appearances. She said, that's all there is to it. I have 4.5 minutes. In that time, I just want to tell you the most beautiful little story I've ever heard when I was walking through Northern Ireland. It's wonderful because all these stories that I know come from places when I walked into Bosnia or Northern Ireland or the West Bank. And we are on our way to Sudan now and then to Kosovo hopefully. But when I was in Northern Ireland, this beautiful baby was born to lovely parents. And the little brother, 5.5 years old, said to Mom and Dad, can I talk to our baby sister? And the parents said, what for? And he said, I'm not going to tell you. It's private. So they said no first, but eventually they agreed. They let the little boy, 5.5-year-old boy, go into the bedroom with a little baby who had just been born, about maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And they kept the door open to see what the little child would do to a baby's sister. And the little boy went up to the baby's sister, remember? And she said, she put her mouth right next to the ear of her baby sister and said, baby sister, can you please tell me what the face of God looks like? Because I am beginning to forget. I am beginning to forget. I ask you to remember, please, remember the sacredness of your soul, your heart, your spirit, your presence on earth. Just trying to remember. If you can just close your eyes for a second, please. Just for 1 minute that I have left. And try and remember who you are and why you came here. What you have come to do here is unique. Thank you for inviting me here today. And I hope we will meet again one day. Thank you.
Wasn't it a song of fire and peace? The fire is still burning, maar ook een ander symbool is in deze viering van belang. Het symbool van het water. Voor mij hier staan 7 kruiken. Die symboliseren 7 verschillende religies en spirituele stromen. Maar alle stromen en rivieren vloeien samen in en ook uit. De oceaan van kosmische liefde. Tonight we see the waters of some different traditions, only some, all is impossible. Then we needed, I think, 7 churches more. The waters will flow together in the baptismal font of this St. Laurens Church. And I walk to this font of water. We zien het font staan midden in de kerk. En straks nodigen we de mensen uit van de verschillende religies om hier hun kruiken in leeg te storten. We zien de mensen hier staan, met de handen naar het licht. Ik wil ons uitnodigen allen te gaan staan en de handen te heffen naar het licht. Thank you. En we gaan zo beginnen om verschillende mensen van verschillende tradities uit te nodigen. Met enkele intermezzo's tussendoor. In de volgende zin zeg ik zowel in het Engels als in het Nederlands. In some times and places, religions stood and stand alone. Tonight we may experience they are in cooperation, more all one. It's only the difference of one character, the L. Alone, all one. En in het Nederlands is het eigenlijk net andersom met die L, maar met dezelfde betekenis. Religies stonden vroeger alleen. Vanavond kunnen we ervaren dat ze al één zijn. Het is alleen het verschil van de letter L. En dat zou toch de heling kunnen betekenen van het misbruik van religie. Religie dat bijvoorbeeld nationalisme of seksisme of fundamentalisme en oorlog steunt. Om te beginnen nodig ik een vertegenwoordiger van de Joodse traditie uit. En rabbijn Avraham Zoetendorp is er niet. We gaan zo niet door vanavond, maar hij is er niet. Rabbi Avraham Zoetendorp isn't there. He isn't ill. He is in Israel. Where after the election, peace, shalom and salam now perhaps is at hand. En Abraham laat zich excuseren omdat zijn dochter op het punt staat hem een kleinkind te schenken. Misschien is het net geboren, misschien wordt het geboren, maar daarom is hij niet hier. En deze geboorte aan grootvader Abraham is a sign of hope too. In zijn plaats verwelkomen we Harold Robles. Harold, je bent hier samen met je bruid, Jasmijn. Ziekte, geboorte, bruid, allemaal peace. En Jasmijn, jij stimuleerde Harold om mijn onverwachte uitnodiging te accepteren. Dank je wel. In 1981 emigreerde Harold naar de Verenigde Staten. Daarom wil hij zijn speech in het Engels doen. Harold, you emigrated from Holland to the USA in 1981. You are president of the Albert Schweitzer Institute for the Humanities. I think you combine so the Jewish tradition with Schweitzer's Ehrfurcht vor dem Leben, reference for life. En na Harold Robles zal zuster Jayanti van Brahma Kumaris met ons nadenken over de universele en innerlijke vrede. You, sister Jayanti, will reflect with us on universal and inner peace. You will also end our celebration with a peace meditation. And then Joel Andrews continues these two spiritual tributaries playing again harp music. Harold, mag ik je uitnodigen?
Let me start by reading to you all something very unique when talking about the river. In 1915, the great humanitarian Albert Schweitzer was sitting on a boat on his way to a patient, and he flew over the Ogowe River, which was very important to him at the end. And I will read to you what he said after that trip. Before boarding the steamer, I had resolved to devote the entire trip to the problem of how a culture could be brought into being that possessed a greater moral depth and energy than the one we lived in. At sunset on the third day, we moved along an island set in the middle of the wide river, and on a sandbank to our left, 4 hippopotamus and their young plodded along the boat. Just then, there flashed upon my mind, unforeseen and unthought, the phrase, reverence for life. Now I had found my way to the idea in which affirmation of the world and ethics are contained side by side. Only by means of reverence for life can we establish a spiritual and human relationship with both people and all living creatures within our reach. One might ask, what is reverence for life? Reverence for life is that you know everything that is good that promotes life is wonderful, and everything that destroys life is evil. Albert Schweitzer has shown us in so many years during his work in Gabon what reverence for life meant. My dear friends, we are sitting here tonight together when more than 750,000 people are searching tonight for love, for food, but most of all for shelter. What have we learned from history? What have we learned from the First and the Second World Wars? What have we learned from all the destruction that we, man, have created on this planet? Today, many decades later, we are more aware of one another because of the television and the radio. And we are still not seeking to bring peace together. I have been very fortunate in the last 20 years to serve my life for humanity in 17 different countries. And once people asked me, why are you doing this? Why are you putting your life in danger? And my answer was always, because there is no other way. There are still tonight people, especially children, going to bed hungry when we throw so much food away every single day. We are, my friends, on a path of inhumanity. And we have to start realizing what moral values there are in being called a human being. We haven't reached that level yet. We are not that far. Tonight, across this wonderful nation, the clocks, the bells are ringing of all the churches and calling people together to pray for peace. We have done that so many times. I'm so afraid that young people are not getting the message and the encouragement that they should. I only hope that one day young people will look down upon us and be disgusted what we have done to this planet. We still have a chance. I call it my 5 minutes to midnight philosophy. Yes, there is only 5 minutes left. And we have to make sacrifices. And we have to change our actions around and bring peace to this world. I have learned a tremendous amount of Albert Schweitzer and his philosophy. And I can tell you that in those 20 years that I served humanities in those God-forsaken countries, I have seen how people have lost first their nationality and then their common humanity. And it continues. Please, my dear friends, let's give peace a chance. Let's try to teach our youngsters what peace is. This is the tool that we have to give them before it is too late. Our chance is now. We have to discover what it means to be called a human being. Schweitzer said that it is time that we give peace a chance, that we start living peace out in every shape or form. I'm very thankful to have had this opportunity to be with you tonight. And I pray, and I hope you too, for peace, not only for our country, but for all those people who have no home tonight.
Om Shanti. A greeting of peace to my sisters and my brothers in this place of hope. We heard the story of the Phoenix here, and truly it's a place in which tonight we can share our dreams and visions of hope also. Think about light. Think about how when light becomes concentrated and becomes an intense single ray, a laser beam is able to cut through the darkness, is able to cut through pain, is able to bring about change. Think about the human mind. Think about how when our energies are scattered, they go everywhere. But how if we focus our thoughts and bring our energy together, that energy multiplies and our thoughts can bring peace to this world of ours. I'd like to share a story that always reminds me of the power and the value of one human being, or in fact, any one form of life. It's a story about a jungle. It's been said that there was a fire and there was a river, and all the big animals felt very scared. And they moved across to the other side of the river, and they gathered together, and they looked at this raging fire across the jungle. And they said, "What can we do? There's nothing we can do." A little bird happened to be flying past, and the bird, seeing the fire, came down to the river, picked up a few drops of water, and went across to the fire and dropped those waters. It did this many times, and the animals said to the bird, "But why are you bothering to do this? What difference can it make?" And the bird said, "I must do what I must do," and continued to go back and forth. And as the bird continued to do this, an angel happened to be flying past, and seeing the tireless effort of the bird, the angel sent a rain cloud and the fire was put out. We find ourselves in similar situations where we look at the conditions of the world and we say, but what can we do? It's so difficult. There's nothing any one of us can do about it. But in fact, the power of human life, and in particular, the power of the human mind is such that if I decide I want to have peace, I begin with my contribution and I create peace within my own mind, within my own heart, then the vibrations of peace are able to reach far across. Can we gauge how far one thought can travel? Are we able to measure it, or are we able to limit it? And if you multiply that thought with the power of love, how far does that thought reach? And when you multiply not just one mind filled with love and peace in their thoughts, but you multiply with all these energies here, then truly you can see that we have within just this one place the power with which to be able to transform the world, if that is our commitment and that is our choice. And so tonight, let there be a renewal of our own commitment, of my own commitment to peace and truth and love, and through that I know that there'll be help from up above and it will happen. I think it's the right moment. Three energies have come together. The energy of the human spirit, the power of the divine, but also time. On the threshold of a new millennium, I believe it's a very powerful moment at which we can make this commitment. And so as these energies come together, so the impossible can be possible, because the original state of every single human being is peace. There's not anything else. The original qualities of every single human soul are divine. Why? Because we are the creation of the divine. We have been created in the image of the Supreme. We forget our own greatness. I remember the lines that were spoken at President Mandela's inaugural. We are not scared of our own weaknesses, but we are sometimes scared of our own greatness. We forget we are the creation of the Supreme. Today, we share our peace with the world. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Sutra van de allesomvattende liefde. Dit is wat iemand die naar vrede zoekt en naar de stille plaats verlangt, het best kan doen. Wees toegewijd, oprecht en vrij van trots, verstandig en aandachtig. Ook bij het spreken wees voldaan, gauw tevreden, rustig, bescheiden en intelligent. Beheers de zinnen, niet in relaties verstrikt, hunker niet naar nutteloos bezit en geen wereldsdoel naar waarvoor een wijze mens geen achting heeft. Laat ieder wezen licht en vrolijk zijn.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, lieve Allah. Assalamu alaikum, alle levende wezens in de hemelen, op de aarde en tussen hemelen en aarde. Mijn dank gaat in de eerste plaats naar Allah toe dat ik vandaag met jullie deze avond mag doorbrengen. Lieve broeders en zusters, wij zijn allen gelijk voor Allah. Hij heeft ons wel verschillend geschapen. Waarom? Hij heeft ons verschillend geschapen omdat wij van elkaar mogen leren en kunnen leren. Hij heeft ons verschillend geschapen, niet om de weg naar wreedheid en valsheid te openen, maar hij heeft ons juist verschillend geschapen om te laten zien hoe mooi, geweldig en subtiel zijn werk is. Vanavond wil ik een gebed opzenden naar de hele wereld toe, naar alle mensen die negatief denken en doen, om tot inzicht te komen. En ik wil ook dat gebed opzenden naar de hele wereld, waar de negativiteit de overhand heeft genomen, zodat alle mensen elkaar salam kunnen geven. Vredesgroet. Salam wil zeggen vredesgroet. Dit gebed, het komt uit de Koran. Het eerste deel is het eerste hoofdstuk vanuit de Koran. Waarom de eerste? Dit hoofdstuk kan niet gemist worden. Zonder dit hoofdstuk is geen gebed. Volgende stuk, dat is het hoofdstuk 112 vanuit de Koran. Dit deel kan ook in een gebed niet gemist worden, omdat het de eenheid van Allah aangeeft. Zo gauw de eerste hoofdstuk gereciteerd wordt door iemand, zegt Allah, als je dat regelmatig doet, zullen de poorten van de hemel geopend zijn. En het tweede hoofdstuk, als je dat regelmatig reciteert, zal je het drinken krijgen uit de hemelse rivier en dan zal je nooit meer dorst krijgen. Ik hoop dat iedereen in de wereld het paradijs binnen mag gaan. En ik hoop dat iedereen in de wereld uit de hemelse rivier mag drinken. Nu ga ik mezelf verbinden met Allah. Jullie hoeven verder niks te doen dan te luisteren, want door te luisteren wordt er ook gezuiverd. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Sadaqallahul azim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Amin. Sadaqallahul azim. Mogen Allah tevreden zijn met ons allen.
Geachte aanwezigen. In mijn jeugd heb ik een verhaal gehoord over een steen en een bloem die aan de rand van een weg tot de inzicht kwamen dat zij ook bestonden. En de bloem zei tot de steen: zie hoe mooi ik ben. Ruik welke geuren ik verspreid. Zelfs wanneer de wind mij aanraakt, neemt hij wat van deze zoete geuren mee. En de steen zei niets. De bloem zei: kijk naar mijn kleuren, naar mijn schoonheid, naar mijn felheid. Mensen brengen mij mee naar huis. Wanneer er een geboorte is, een verjaardag, een huwelijk, zelfs wanneer mensen komen te overlijden, geven ze elkaar bloemen. En de steen zei niets. Op een dag kwam er een kunstenaar langs en die pakte dat steen mee. Hij nam het mee naar huis en maakte daarvan een klein beeldje van Sri Krishna. De volgende dag legde hij dat stenen beeldje in het lege tempeltje dat aan het eind van dezelfde weg stond. Diezelfde dag was het de geboortedag van Krishna. En mensen gingen haastig naar het tempeltje toe en een van de devoties plukte dat bloem en offerde het op het beeldje van Sri Krishna. In het verhaal is de beeldhouwer, de kunstenaar, ons bewustzijn die ons laat zien dat wij God zijn of God in ons draagt. En de bloem, datgene wat wij willen zijn, maar niet kunnen zijn. We have to be who we are, not who we want to be. And God is so near us that we can't find Him. Ik zal een paar stukken versen uit de Srimad Bhagavad Gita voorlezen. Het lied dat is gezongen door Sri Krishna. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshi arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudhani mayaya तमेव शरणं गच्छः सर्वभावेन भारत तत्प्रसादात् परां शान्तिं स्थानं प्राप्स्यसि शाश्वतम् इति ते ज्ञानम् आख्यातम् गुयात् गुयतरं मया विमर्शैतच्छेषेण यथेच्छसि तथा कुरु सर्वगूयतमं भूयः शृणु मे परमं वचः इष्टोऽस्मि दृढमिति ततो वक्ष्यामि ते हितम् मन्मना भवो मद्भक्तो मद्याजि मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैशस्यि सत्यं ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽसि मे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति.
Dit was de Vredesdienst in de Laurenskerk. Volgend op een hele week van congressen en bijeenkomsten rond het thema vrede. Waaronder de Euro 2000-wolk van Mansukh Patel. Maar deze dienst was een waardige afsluiting en wij hebben ervan genoten. Wij hopen u ook. Het is tijd voor Zuidoost. Het is tijd voor Stadsdeel TV en Suriname anders bekeken.